no Bucky in warm-up. Did you do that for your NHL debut? What do you think of Bedard last night?
Oh, I may have done it for my NHL debut. I can't really remember that.
Because it was back in the 70s, right?
Yeah, to Jay's story, to Rosie's old lie that he just wove to your guys' viewers. I don't know if I did it. I wasn't a Bucky's off guy. I thought it was sick. I thought when guys did it was sick. I was like a chin strap done up, ready to go and warm up guy. Like I don't know why. I was like old school that way. I was like, you got to be ready. You got to be ready. So I did remember I wasn't playing one time in Montreal. I was injured and I came back in the lineup just to be in the dressing room. And I threw in the biggest wad of bubble gum. I went, no Bucky. And I was just like chomping it down, just Rosie's point. Like that was so showtime. The guys looked amazing. I thought they looked amazing with no Bucky, but you're right, Nick. I think that's a rule now. No, you can't go no Bucky anymore. So I was surprised.
What do you think was going on in that room, Army, when he goes no Bucky? Guys were just getting all jacked up and just like, you got to take it off. You got to take it off. I'll pay it. Guys are chucking money on the board. We'll pay it. Like, just go. And he goes, okay. I don't think it was him being cocky.
They got like one of the biggest beauties going, like Corey Perry in the room, and Foligno too. Like those guys are definitely telling him to go no Bucky, 100%. So
they're probably paying the fine, probably.
Yeah, it's not even a big deal. I mean,
$2,500.
Ho hum. You know,
Army. Last night I watched your segment with him and Sid. When did you do that? Like after pregame skate, or?
No, I did that at NHL Media Day. Believe it or not,
Jesus.
In Vegas, no?
In Vegas, yeah. It was NHL Media Day in Vegas, and it was. I got a bunch of guys. It was actually really fun. The guys were great, and you know what? What's funny about those two as well? It's funny they played each other opening night, but he looks up to Sid a ton. But they kind of are similar in a lot of ways in getting to know him as well a little bit, just the way that they think, how humble they are with themselves. Like I was thinking that like he was at the media day with his Chicago Blackhawks jersey on, and you can kind of get a vibe that I was like, you know, he was nervous being around it a little bit, but like he was also humble enough to go like, I haven't even made the team yet. You know, what am I doing here? Like, how am I wearing this jersey yet? So
cool.
I kind of got that sense from that's kind of the guy he is as well, but he played pretty good. I thought for his first game, all the nerves, everything going up against your idol, and obviously ended up winning.
Well, firstly, shout out. Go ahead, Rosie.
I was just thinking, I watched it too. He's a little passive. Like I like that he had like the respect of like, I'm not going to try to absolutely dipsy dangle every guy I walk in front of, which you can't do in this league anyways. But I mean, he was doing that in preseason. He was kind of dishing it around, just feeling it out a little bit. It felt like he had the respect that he's playing the Penguins, and he didn't try to go too overboard, but also lots of touches, lots of shots.
Yeah.
Looked solid. I mean, I liked it. I had buddies losing it. Like I had him to score in the first period. It's like, okay, settle down, man. You're not going to judge the guy in his first 4 shifts.
No, well, he's coming in the game, and like I hear like he skates like McDavid and he shoots like Matthews. I'm like, oh my god, this guy's an alien. Come on. There's no question he's like a smaller guy, but you could see like a lot of stuff when he's on the ice. It goes through him. Like he's got the puck, and he's not just a shooter. Also, like he can create space. He creates his own shots. He sets them up. He can get it off whenever he wants, kind of thing. And a lot of the action runs off of his stick. So the game's going to be on his stick a lot this year. He's going to have tons of. What he had 10 shot attempts, 5 shots on goal last night. Some quality ones. One was like a rebound smashing into the net as well. Give him credit for that. So I thought he looked good. What his numbers are going to be, God, I don't know. But it was pretty cool. My son went to the game with my wife. And we were doing pre- and post-game show because it was national. So we were like in studio. So I didn't actually see him with my own eyes, which sucks. But it was cool because my son, all the kids think Bedard's like the shit. Okay? Like my kid thinks he's unreal. Everyone thinks
daddy likes him, eh?
Oh, yeah.
Cruiser.
Daddy. Cruiser.
What about Melly Poo? Melly Poo got wide eyes for the young fella?
Their seats were like kind of in the end where he scored, where he got his first point. So I thought that was kind of cool because, you know, those are the kind of guys that you went and saw him play and you saw him get his first NHL point. Like that's pretty cool for my kid.
You can say that way down the road.
Yep.
I knew it was going to take Rosie about 6 minutes to bring up your wife. Somebody in the chat asked.
Well,
Somebody
where
in
is
the
Melly?
chat-
Is she home? She in her jammies? What's going on
She's
back there? You got
napping,
that
bud.
big
She,
wall.
I made her.
know
Well,
that.
I didn't make her. I was just late night with the late start, Eastern, 8 o'clock Eastern start, hour post game show. Got home late, and then I
Goodness.
didn't do the kid rush this morning. I got to sleep in, so she's
didn't-
taking a nappy poo. She's taking a little nappy poo,
That's
Rosie.
nice. Did you were all jacked up from the game? You gave her the old elbow and hey,
She's like, get out of here. Get out of here.
eat it, Colby.
It's like you guys haven't missed a beat from playing together.
Yeah. Oh,
T
yeah.
Max TV writes in, who is the hottest hockey wife?
Oh, God, I don't know.
I didn't
O'Reilly.
expect to answer that.
O'Reilly.
Next question.
A lot of great wives rooms around the league.
A lot of good people. A lot of good people.
Lot of good
Great
people.
people. Overlooked
Okay, so-
people.
We wanted to bring you on. I think it's cool. You're in a rare company, Colby, because you played for Montreal and Toronto. Again, I tell you every time I talk to you, it's disgusting you played for Montreal, but nonetheless, I get it. A job's a job. But what is Montreal, Toronto? What does that rivalry mean to you, Colby?
Oh, good question. I grew up a Habs fan as a kid too, so suck on that one, Alberga.
That's terrible. Fucking
Yeah.
terrible.
Freaking Stanley Cup when I was 11 years old. Yep, I got it. I remember it. It was the best day of my life when I was a kid. When I was hockey crazy, it was the greatest thing ever. So I had that going for me. The rivalry, I don't know. It was there. I would say you could feel it, and I think a lot of it is brought on, yes, by the players, but I would say like the fan bases. Like the fan bases make the rivalry, and I think quality of teams make the rivalry as well. So. I don't know if Montreal is close to Toronto's level right now these days, but I did enjoy playing in those. I loved playing in those games just because I think the fans make it. I think Leafs Nation in Montreal fans are nuts, and then vice versa playing at home too. Like there's Habs fans everywhere as well. So it's kind of like the vibe of the fans make the whole game day kind of have a different feel.
Yeah, Colby, like when you started off playing in Atlanta, I mean, hot Atlanta, you're going to the rink in
You should have
shorts
seen the
and-
rivalries we had against the Panthers, bud.
I know.
terrible.
So you go from that. We know what that was like. It's just a
Yeah.
different market. And then, you had your time in Pittsburgh and stuff like that. But just sticking with the Toronto, Montreal kind of gig, to go from that to those two things, what did you feel? Did you like that, having like the hoopla surrounding it, or was it kind of like roll your eyes? My God, they're crazy here about every little thing we do.
Yeah, and we're hockey players, we're nerds, so we're like, oh yeah, I think it's more of a rivalry because you guys say it is, and
Max Domi.
yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, did he say that already?
He had to run back something he said with Montreal.
Oh yeah. I saw that
Right
a while
away.
ago. Yeah, I know, that's so good. I love that. I mean, Max grew up in like the Leafs dressing room. That's so crazy, but
Seriously.
awesome that he's there now. But yeah, I love that. I thought it made it like the NHL. I thought it made it so fun. Like when I was in Pittsburgh and we got playing with Sid, it was like a circus everywhere we went. Everyone wanted to come see Sid when we were on the road. So it was exciting. Like the media attention was crazy, and the fact that also playing in Pittsburgh, whenever there was a big game at home, it's so close for like Canadian media to come down to cover like a Crosby Ovechkin game, and those were usually nationally televised down here as well, which like made it even like a bigger circus. So coming in, I was like, holy shit, this is the show. This is unreal. From one beat reporter in the American League kind of thing, or like four people to, the circus. I kind of found it exciting. So going to Toronto and playing in that market was like, it was like, holy, maybe more than I thought even, to be honest with you, with the craziness. Hey, Rosie. But it was, there wasn't a dull moment day to day. It was just every day was crazy.
I could tell you were nervous because, like, back when they had those RBK sticks with like the holes in them, and then you typed in preseason and you started playing it like a flute. I could tell you were like really like taking it seriously and everything.
For once.
I remember watching that game, going, "Did he just do what I think he did?" And I was like, "Fucking Army, that is amazing! Those stupid sticks with the holes in them."
Those are
Yeah.
the dumbest
Playing the rec-
invention. Those
the
are like
Jazz
the T-blades.
too.
Remember the T-blades?
Yeah, T-blades of
The-
sticks.
Yoke and Hesht, man. Remember that guy? You
Yeah.
can hear him coming from a mile away.
Yeah,
Who had those?
Seidenberg used those.
Seidenberg had those just grinding away in front of the bench. Bad.
Yeah, you can't sneak up on anyone with those T-blades. There's no question about it. Those are brutal. Yeah, but yeah, it was also made it fun for that. Like I mean, Rosie, there's a reason why you're doing what you're doing right now. One, you have a fantastic personality and ravishing good looks, but also, it helps to play for, a market and fan base and be around that stuff a lot and being able to do this kind of stuff. So, yeah, it was crazy. The rivalry was crazy. The attention to it was crazy, and it was fun. It was electric. And I mean, playing on Hockey Night in Canada most of the time for those games was something else.
Yeah, sadly, I got the chat just talking about hot wives throughout the league that we're not going to name.
Clean up the chat.
Whoops.
Yeah, the chat's
Aaron, clean up the chat.
I love where you're in our chat just talking. No, I'm talking about the YouTube chat, but the people watching right now live want to get your opinion on this Maple Leafs team. So I want to get to Dubas, by the way, because I threw out a nice tweet I felt last night. The Dubas era off to a roaring start in Pittsburgh with a loss to the lowly Chicago Blackhawks. But nevertheless, we'll start with the Leafs. Just your thoughts on what they did in the offseason. Obviously, like a polar opposite type of look from the previous administration.
Yeah, it is. And then they brought in some, guys with, that jam. I mean, I thought they did that last year too, with acquisition of a few, key guys in key areas, and Achari and O'Reilly and Shen. And I thought, Dubas was pretty aggressive in trying to find guys that fit last year to have a run and to be difference makers and have guys be in certain spots, that made sense for their team. But I do think they're still good. I like the guys they picked up. I think they can contribute like in meaningful ways to this lineup. How's Klingberg looked? Have you seen him?
Barely.
Been injured.
He's injured. I think if he comes back and plays though, like I think he's like he's like Gonchar almost, in a way that he can kind of maneuver the blue line, ice in his veins, distribute pucks. He's not afraid to shoot. Like he's kind of like a real quality quarterback guy for the power play, which
but you guys know that this, like confidence is everything. Like that's my one read. You guys know I watch a lot of hockey. Like John Klingberg in Dallas, I haven't seen that guy in years, and to get his confidence back in this market, Army, I think it's going to be tough.
Yeah, but I think he's going to be put in positions to be able to get it. Like that's the one thing I always say about guys like him, guys like that get the opportunity to, build the confidence. A guy that, is struggling to score, but is on the first unit PP, you could easily pick up 2 points. You could easily get 1-1 and you're out of it. You're given those opportunities to build it, where, guys deeper in the lineup that are struggling, it's like, oh my God, I gotta do it 5-on-5, or, your confidence is roaring because you block a shot on the PK, right? Yeah. So it's like some of those guys with the gift that are gifted a little bit differently get put in situations for themselves to get out of that. And you get enough looks at that, and, you have one good game and it changes everything.
Love it. What, you got your money on the game tonight? Who are you cheering for? I'm curious.
Oh gosh, I don't know. I just think it's
don't do it.
I think it's like lopsided. I do like underdogs. I would maybe lean more towards that. Even on your show with like blue and white flashing all over my screen with the Leafs logo coming off the bottom there, right under Rosie's head.
I'm surprised you had time to cheer for the Habs with all the figure skating competitions you were in.
That's true. That is true. Yeah, I know. I think the Leafs will win. I think they'll win if I had to.
We'll see.
I have a good stat. I mentioned this earlier on, dating back to 16-17. 7 straight first meetings of the season between the Leafs and the Habs have been decided by 1 goal, including 3 straight openers.
The thing I know for sure, and you felt this, Rosie, is, and I saw it last night too, is it's still preseason-esque with a little bit of rustiness, not super great execution yet. Like, you got to get like 5 games in, 6 games in before you start feeling still, regular. So I think there's room for like breaks. There's room for sloppiness. There's room for not finishing chances, I think, still right now. So, and I find like young teams are better in that situation. Like these young guys now are just a little cleaner. They're a little bit more on it. I don't know, for whatever reason, like I think through camp had to push themselves a little bit harder just because they're like, oh shit, this is the NHL. Like I got to be ready.
Mhm.
And they're not like managing, how they feel coming through it. So I think younger teams have a little bit of an advantage early with regards to like how ready they are, how like less rusty they are. I would put that in there too. Is that a stat? What is that? Analytics?
Even though they played 14 preseason
I
games.
know, buddy.
My
One year in Toronto, I played 7 of the 9 preseason games. I was like
You're on the bubble,
exhausted.
probably.
I was
You're on
exhausted.
the bubble.
They just
He
brought
was
me
not
in.
on the bubble.
So you're on the bubble, yeah.
You're
Like shit. Why do we sign this guy?
Yeah.
I remember Dangle tweeted something out about it, and he goes, "Throwback to when Rosehill made the Leafs out of training camp," and I think it was like he fought 5 times in 6 nights or something like that. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, these probably weren't just like, grab a guy, hang on, throw a couple. The Rose Dozer just grabbed on and like, shaklank, shaklank, shaklank. Just started bombing. Just started bombing. Hair.
Think Ryan Reeves drops him tonight?
Oh, he'll be looking. There's no question. And you know what the thing I like about him is, he's got swagger, but like he's always ready, but he'll make you do something about it too, the way he plays. He's not just out there to like, tap guys on shin pads off faceoffs. Like he'll run you and he'll run somebody in a forecheck and just blow a guy up. He'll get a guy in the neutral zone and smash a guy. And then like, what are you going to do? So he puts, so he kind of, he plays the game both ways because he can in that regard. But I think, with his play, and I think, you take a Canadian kid too, and you put him in a market like that, and you put him in a rivalry, and you put him in opening night where he's going to want to like showcase himself. I think you see something I think you see some fireworks from him in any way possible with his game.
Well, this probably goes to both of you. Is like, so Rosie, you can start with you. Like, this is the Montreal Canadiens. It's the Toronto Maple Leafs, the season opener. How do you keep your emotions in check? Because like that's the one thing I'm looking at from guys like the newcomers specifically, Domi, Bertuzzi, Reeves. I mean, it's no secret what they're looking to do. They're looking to bash. They're looking to make some noise. How do you keep that emotion in check, Rosie?
Well, I wish I was a master at that, but my emotions were pretty much all over the goddamn
Some
place,
videos
so
about that too in
game
Europe.
day.
Yeah.
Just take one less Sudi.
Jesus. No, I mean, these guys are going to try to remind themselves this is just a regular game, right? Like they've been doing this a long time. I don't think they want to put any extra pressure on themselves. And, these guys are going to be pretty good at having a routine and following it. They're going to stick to it. Luckily, that preseason is long enough. They've got to figure out where they like to have pregame, why, their place is set up for their nap. They know how to get to the rink, blah, blah. They're going to go do everything they normally do and just try not to put too much up on it. But it's going to be a big game. I think I brought it up on this show, Army, when Mike Komisarek, I always remember that, like, he was so horned up to play because he was the big tough accusation on the back end of the Leafs, and we played Montreal, his team, and he just ran around and took about 6 minors. It was hilarious. He was on a couple Sudis, I'm sure.
Yeah, big Como. I think in particular, to your point, Nick, is like those guys will definitely be more. I think everyone's on edge a little bit or has that kind of vibe for opening night. Like it's ready to get it going. It's different. The energy's different. The fans, it just feels so different. But those guys in particular, like to put your best, foot forward on opening night, it's like a little bit of extra juice, I think. So I expect to see something from them though. I do, just because like, I think all 3 of those guys are like emotional players. Like they play on they play on emotion. So I think it'll only bring out the best in them here in getting it done. I just hope it's not like a rusty, slop fest of like a preseason-esque looking game. But I do expect them to be noticeable with their play just because of all the factors.
Here's my call. Someone's going to take a dumb penalty. It's probably going to be one of the newcomers. It happens every year, from David Clarkson to Kami. Like somebody's going to do it. Final question for you from the chat. One guy really wants to know what Army's favorite line to play on was in your day. It's got to be on a line with 87. You still riding his coattails. You're on a fucking couch with the guy.
Well, I'm going to add another guy. Another guy. In the Winter Classic, the first Winter Classic game, the game that I always brag about, the game that I have the fastest goal in the history of Winter Classics.
That's true, you do.
And I don't know if anyone knew that.
We didn't know.
But I want to let you guys know. I was on a line in that game with Sid and Gino.
Oh wow!
So that was pretty good. That was
I remember
beautiful.
just you plucking yourself in front of the net, man. You were the ass guy.
Yeah, I just came and I was the hound. I was the dog. I just went after it. I just got pucks, bumped it to them, picked the guy, got to the net, got open, little give and go action, get the puck back on their stick. Like little things like that I did. And like if you have analytics back in the day, like in that game, like I was like probably had the puck on my stick for a total of like 10 seconds, but I just made so many spectacular 10-foot plays. It was ridiculous. And then on my goal, like the fastest goal ever, I just crashed into the crease like a seagull ripping around the dump and swooped in there. Wango just tapped one in on my stick, off my stick, in the back of the net. But that was a hell of a line. A unique, fun, cool line that I also played in was in Atlanta. I played with Rich Peverly, who's like a good player, buzzsaw, could shoot the puck. Yeah. He was fast, and Slava Kozlov, the old Russian, but he was just like Vyacheslav Kozlov. And he's so smart, like with that give and go stuff and like how to move pucks and just had a bomb of a shot. So I was pretty successful on that line too. I think I had my best, career year in goal scoring too, playing with those guys.